Good afternoon, guys. It's John Weston here, and welcome to assignment 4. The piece which I'm going to work on this week is that I want to demonstrate to you an effective use of a gate in a musical context. Now, this isn't necessarily a studio recording as such. This is a recording that I made for one of my contracted musicians, James Hewish, in the Grand Opera House earlier in the year. Just a very quick introduction of myself. Again, my name is Johnny Weston. I run my own company called Equip Audio Visual, where I operate as a live sound engineer, recording engineer, an AV technician, and a general sort of theatre tech as well. Okay, so we're going to work within the DAW called Reason. Okay, now this is a recording which I made of a rather large scale production. I think there's something like maybe 48 tracks in it. You can see them represented just up here. Okay, but what we're only really concerned with in this particular instance is vocals. Okay, typically in a live environment, I will use a gate extensively. I will use it primarily to root out any sort of ambivalent noise which sits between the important parts of music. There'll be an awful lot of sort of background noise. There'll be bleed coming into mics from wedge monitors or other close by loud instruments like drums. In this particular example, we do have quite a lot of bleed in from the monitors and from the drums. It was quite a large stage. The girls themselves were singing up on a riser, and they were sitting up just slightly high into the left of the drum kit. So there's sometimes some hits from snares, sometimes some hits from the ride bell coming through into the mics, which you just cannot do. You can't really do very much about. But you can try and minimize it as much as possible with the use of the gate. Okay, so let's get to the mixer where we'll find our dynamic section. So this is the Reason mixer, okay, going from the bottom whole way up to our dynamic section. Okay, so this is pretty much where our gates are here. You see this is clearly labeled as the dynamic section. We also have a compressor built in here, but the one that we're concerned with is the gate. So at the moment we have a couple of little LEDs here. There's 5 LEDs. And at the moment, whenever all 5 LEDs are lit, that means that actually the gate is in place. The gate will only ever be in place whenever there is no signal which will exceed the threshold point that you have currently defined per channel. Now, if it were the case that somebody were to come along and pick up, say for example, Philippa's mic and shout into it, then there's a high likelihood that that gate, because we've carefully placed the threshold at being the point where it comes in, there's a high likelihood that this mic then is going to activate, and we're going to see the reduction. We're going to see this opening up, and the reduction will be removed. Okay, so let's do a quick playback. Let's go to the bottom of the channel, and we can see that we've actually we've soloed the group track for the girls here. I think at this part in the song we're just leaving a solo from piano. So you can hear that there's some audio coming in, disappearing. Some audio coming in, disappearing. Unfortunately, the reason why this is happening is because the gate itself can't be set so hard that you're going to lose the smaller, sort of more delicate parts of the girls' voices. Generally, for the most part, the gate is acting. Here's the girls coming in now, so we can see that this is coming on and off according to the girls coming in. Here comes a stronger vocal part. It's completely disappeared, and we anticipate now it's going to come back in. So we've got a bass solo going on there. Okay, this girl here, Jolene, she was the closest to the snare. So we can see there's no sort of noise coming through from this at all at the minute. Now, if we were to increase the threshold and pump it up, then what we're going to find is that we're going to lose the delicacy of the girls. So we know that the girls are singing there at the moment, but they're not being picked up because they're above the threshold. So we'll undo those threshold points. So that's them back in. And in fact, actually, Philippa's is maybe still a wee bit too high. And what we've also done is, on this particular example, we don't have an adjustable attack time. What we've got is basically a fast attack. So we just simply enable the fast attack here. Reasons say that it's approximately the equivalent to about a 5 millisecond attack. So it is quite quick. In this particular instance, I've chosen a gate release of typically in around about 242 milliseconds for each of them. This way, it doesn't actually sound too unnatural whenever in the overall mix whenever the gate is closing again. The release time pretty much is the amount of time that it takes for the gate to close up. So attack is the time that it takes to open, release is the time that it takes to close. And hold is another option here that we have, which again I usually set sort of then around about sort of 350. So hopefully this gives you a bit of an idea as to how I myself will use a gate in a live environment. I will also replicate the use of this gate in many ways on my digital desks as well that I use. Hopefully this helps.